The Harry Potter TV series is happening, and we just got our first official casting. John Lithgow is our new Dumbledore, and yeah, he's American. That's already shaking things up. But who's next? Today, we're breaking down everything we know about the casting, the rumors, and what it means for the series. If you're hyped, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get into it. John Lithgow as Dumbledore. So, John Lithgow just dropped a bomb in an interview confirming that he'll be playing Albus Dumbledore in HBO's Harry Potter reboot. And his reaction? Even he was surprised. He said, "Well, it came as a total surprise to me. I just got the phone call up at the Sundance Film Festival, and it was not an easy decision because it's going to define me for the last chapter of my life, I'm afraid. But I'm very excited. Some wonderful people are turning their attention back to Harry Potter. That's why it's been such a hard decision. I'll be about 87 years old at the wrap party, but I've said yes. That's a commitment. If this show actually goes the full 7 seasons, 1 per book, he'll be playing Dumbledore until 2033. That's nearly a decade of his life devoted to this character. And while Lithgow is no stranger to long-term roles, this might be one of the biggest he's ever taken on. Now here's the kicker. Lithgow is the first American actor to play Dumbledore. The movie stuck strictly to British casting, so this is a huge shift. It's not like Lithgow doesn't have experience with British roles. He's played Winston Churchill in The Crown and even voiced Lord Farquaad in Shrek with a British accent. But this marks a major break from tradition in the Harry Potter franchise. So, what does this mean for the series? Well, it could signal that HBO is more focused on getting experienced, high-caliber actors rather than sticking to strict national casting rules. It also might open the door for other non-British actors to take on key roles, which could either be a refreshing change or a controversial decision, depending on how fans feel about it. And let's talk about Lithgow himself for a second. The guy is an acting legend. He's got 2 Oscar nominations, 6 Emmys, and more than 130 screen credits to his name. From his comedic turn in Third Rock from The Sun to intense roles in Dexter and The Crown, he's proven he can do just about anything. But stepping into the shoes of a character as iconic as Dumbledore? That's a whole different ballgame. He's following in the footsteps of Richard Harris, Michael Gambon, and Jude Law, all of whom left their own distinct marks on the role. Can Lithgow live up to that legacy? Time will tell, but one thing's for sure. He's got some serious talent to back it up. The Golden Trio. 32,000 auditions and counting. And finally, the most important casting decision of all, Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Right now, over 32,000 kids have auditioned for these roles, and HBO is dead set on casting unknown actors. They don't want big names. They want fresh talent that can grow into the characters over the next decade. And get this, Jason Isaacs, who played Lucius Malfoy in the movies, has already seen some of the new cast and said, "Oh, I know who they're casting. They're incredible actors." That's a huge vote of confidence. If even someone like Isaacs is impressed, that's a good sign that HBO is making the right choices. But here's the tricky part: finding actors who can commit to a decade-long project. For the original cast, growing up in the spotlight wasn't easy. Imagine balancing school, personal life, and the pressures of stardom while filming some of the most beloved movies of all time. The new cast will face similar challenges, and the studio is reportedly working to ensure they have the support they need to thrive both on and off set. Papa Esiedu as Snape. Alan Rickman's portrayal of Severus Snape set an impossibly high standard, blending sharp wit, restrained fury, and profound vulnerability. Recasting such an iconic role is daunting, but Papa Esiedu could rise to the challenge. You might know him from Gangs of London or The Lazarus Project, and he's one of Britain's fastest rising stars. The showrunner has already said that they want Snape to be his real age from the books, 31 years old, so Esiedu could bring a younger, more intense take on the character. Esiedu's skill in portraying morally complex characters makes him an inspired choice. His commanding stage presence would ensure he captures the enigmatic aura that makes Snape such a fascinating figure. Additionally, casting Esiedu as Snape would modernize the role, opening the door to richer storytelling and inclusivity in the wizarding world. And let's be honest, Snape is probably one of the most iconic characters in the series, so whoever gets this role has to absolutely nail it. Ben Barnes as Sirius Black. This one isn't confirmed yet, but the Chronicles of Narnia and Shadow and Bone star Ben Barnes has been linked to the role of Sirius Black. And what's interesting is that fans have been suggesting him for years. In fact, he even acknowledged it, saying, "It's been going on for 20 years that people have been very kindly saying that they would have liked me to have played a young version of Sirius Black. But now, I'm the actual age of the character in the books." That's actually perfect. If HBO is looking for an actor who can bring charisma, charm, and a bit of tragedy to Sirius, Ben Barnes is the guy. Cillian Murphy as Voldemort, or Quirrell. Now let's talk about the Dark Lord himself, Voldemort. The name being thrown around? Cillian Murphy. Yeah, Oppenheimer himself might be taking on the role of the most feared wizard of all time. And guess what? Ralph Fiennes, the original Voldemort, gave his approval. When asked about it, he said, "Cillian is a fantastic actor. That's a wonderful suggestion. I would be all in favor of Cillian." Yeah, but here's where things get weird. More recent reports suggest that HBO actually wants Murphy to play Professor Quirrell instead. If that's true, it's a huge downgrade from Voldemort, but at the same time, it could actually be amazing if they turn Quirrell into a darker, more complex villain. Instead of just a scared, weak professor, he could be someone who actively chose to serve Voldemort, and Murphy would absolutely crush that role. Either way, Cillian Murphy in the wizarding world? That's a win. Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Aunt Petunia. Next up, we've got a casting choice that actually makes a lot of sense. Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Aunt Petunia. The Fleabag star has reportedly been offered the role, and honestly, she could bring so much more depth to the character than we saw in the movies. Petunia isn't just the mean aunt who makes Harry sleep under the stairs. She's actually a really interesting character. She grew up jealous of her sister Lily, wanted to be part of the wizarding world, and then spent her whole life pretending she didn't care. If HBO really wants to flesh out these characters, Waller-Bridge could make Petunia so much more than just a background villain. Brett Goldstein as Rubeus Hagrid. Now this one is interesting. Ted Lasso star Brett Goldstein is rumored to be in the running for Hagrid, and honestly, I did not see this coming. Goldstein is best known for playing Roy Kent, the gruff, no-nonsense footballer with a heart of gold, which, okay, kind of fits Hagrid's personality. But at the same time, Hagrid is supposed to be a literal half-giant. Robbie Coltrane had that big, warm, towering presence in the movies, and while Goldstein is a great actor, he's not exactly a massive dude. So, does this mean HBO might take a different approach to Hagrid? Maybe they're leaning more into his personality rather than focusing on his size. After all, the TV show has more time to explore his backstory, his childhood, how he was expelled from Hogwarts, and his actual friendship with Dumbledore, which was barely touched on in the movies. Goldstein does have that gruff but lovable energy, so if they go that route, I could see it working. But what do you think? Can you picture Roy Kent as Hagrid? Sharon Horgan as Minerva McGonagall. Alright, so another big character that needs a perfect casting choice is Professor McGonagall. And according to reports, HBO might have found their pick, Sharon Horgan. Now, if you're not familiar with Horgan, she's the creator and star of Bad Sisters and Catastrophe. And she's got that sharp, commanding presence that could work really well for McGonagall. Let's be real, Maggie Smith was legendary in this role. She had that strict but caring energy that made her one of the best parts of the original films. So whoever steps into this role has huge shoes to fill. Horgan is definitely a solid choice. She's got that no-nonsense attitude, but she can also be witty and sharp. And honestly, McGonagall does get some of the best lines in the series, so having someone with great comedic timing could actually work in her favor. Another name that's been floating around is Rachel Weisz, which would definitely be a bigger name to attach to the show, but it feels like Horgan would really make the role her own. What do you think? Would Sharon Horgan make a great McGonagall? Or do you think they should go with someone else? And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more updates. Peter Capaldi as Garrick Ollivander. Alright, now this one actually makes a ton of sense. Peter Capaldi as Ollivander, the legendary wand maker. Capaldi is best known for playing Doctor Who, but let's be real. The guy can play weird and mysterious better than almost anyone. And that's exactly what Ollivander needs to be. John Hurt did an amazing job in the movies, but we only saw a tiny bit of Ollivander's story. In the books, there's way more to his character. His obsession with wand lore, his creepy way of talking about wands as if they're alive, and let's not forget, he spends a huge part of the later books as Voldemort's prisoner. Capaldi could bring so much depth to this role, making Ollivander feel otherworldly, intense, and just a little bit unsettling. This is one of those castings where I honestly can't see a better choice. Capaldi would absolutely crush it. Do you agree? Or do you have another actor in mind for Ollivander? Jessica Hines as Molly Weasley. Now this one isn't officially confirmed, but there's a lot of speculation that Jessica Hines is being considered for Molly Weasley. Molly is one of the most beloved characters in the Harry Potter series. She's the fierce, protective, loving mother of the Weasley family, and let's not forget, she also delivered one of the most badass lines in the entire franchise. Julie Walters absolutely owned this role in the movies, so anyone stepping in has to bring warmth, humor, and toughness all at once. Hines, who starred in British comedies like Spaced and dramas like Years and Years, definitely has the acting chops, but it'll be interesting to see if HBO actually goes with her. This is one of those roles that needs to be perfect because Molly Weasley isn't just Ron's mom, she's basically Harry's second mom. She's one of the few adults in the series who actually loves and cares for him like family, and her scenes with Harry are some of the most emotional moments in the books. Would you be happy with Jessica Hines as Molly? Or is there someone else you'd rather see in the role? Tom Felton returning as Lucius Malfoy. Alright, now let's talk about the craziest potential return. Tom Felton coming back to play Lucius Malfoy. Yep, Draco himself might be stepping into his father's shoes, and fans are all for it. When asked about the idea, Felton said, "As far as casting me as Lucius, yes, I just don't think they can afford me. Let's make it clear, I'm joking, but also, I'm available." So he's definitely interested. And honestly, this could be perfect. Draco spends the entire series trying to live up to his father's reputation, so having Felton now play Lucius would be the ultimate full-circle moment. Would HBO actually do it? No clue, but you have to admit, it would be legendary. Final thoughts. So there you have it, some of the biggest casting rumors for the new Harry Potter TV series. John Lithgow as Dumbledore, too old or perfect fit? Tom Felton? Should he return as Lucius? And what about Jessica Hines as Molly Weasley? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to stay up to date on all things Harry Potter TV series, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More news is coming and you won't want to miss it.